Shall proceed to the panel discussion for the first session today on sustainable strategies for cooling the urban landscape. We have a very thought-provoking session ahead, and we are delighted to have our distinguished panel experts joining us today. Let us begin by setting the stage for this significant conversation. In our ever-urbanizing world, where cities are growing at an unprecedented rate, we are facing the pressing challenge of cooling our urban landscapes efficiently and sustainably. To address this, we are exploring the integration of district cooling in urban planning and its governance. Today, our panel of experts will share their insights, experiences, and strategies on how district cooling can be seamlessly integrated into the fabric of our cities. They will delve into the critical aspects of governance, environmental impact, energy efficiency, and economic implications of these cooling systems within an urban context. The panel discussion today will be moderated by Mr. Vikram Murthy, Presidential Member, ISHRAE. On the panelist stage, we have Mrs. Sudha Raman, Member Secretary, State Planning Commission, Tamil Nadu, Mr. Sunil Deepote, Executive Director, Mahapri, Mr. Lavleen Garg, Chief Planner, Gift City, Ms. Alisa Sahu, Urban and Regional Development Advisor, GIZ, Mr. Anirudh Bapat, Vice President and Head MEP, Tata Realty, and Mr. Nikhil Kulkarni, City Advisor, C40 Cities. Please join us on stage. We encourage you, our audience, to engage in the discussion. And without further ado, let us explore the strategies for cooling our urban landscapes through the integration of district cooling in the urban planning and its governance in India. Thank you.
Okay. So we overheard the opening remarks, and we had some nice introductions to what we are going to be speaking about. And we have a wonderful panel here. It's very diverse, and the discussions are going to be very interesting. So I am going to ask to each of you one question, and you take about 5 minutes to answer that approximately, because there are 6 of us, and that will take about 30 minutes. And then we may go back to some of these questions, which you might be able to add some further light to any of those, right? And then we'll have some time for some questions from the audience, all right? So I have my little cheat sheet in my pocket, and I'm going to use that. So we will begin with Sudha, and you're from the government of Tamil Nadu, and they have been doing a lot of work preparatory to getting into district cooling, such as mitigating heat in the cities, encouraging cool roofs, and then they have got collaborations with institutions like the CPT in Ahmedabad and other organizations. So I would like to ask you first to tell us a bit about all of this which you have planned and which you're doing in your state, and then we can lead on to the next question. All right? Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I feel so happy to be here today to talk about district cooling and to be the part of this international conference. And as the moderator rightly said, our state has been initiating lots of efforts in terms of sustainable initiatives, in terms of this energy as well as cooling systems. What we have did is that now the State Planning Commission has initiated the heat mitigation strategy. Tamil Nadu being located in the southernmost part, and it's typically having a tropical climate, the need for cooling is very high. And with increasing temperature levels, the energy demand is also increasing, and the state really understands that we need to have a very consolidated heat mitigation strategy. By means of the heat mitigation strategy, we are looking into different aspects. One is on the health benefits, and second is on the energy, how the transition can happen into the sustainable energy practices can be adopted, and how the urban cooling can also be initiated. For this, we have with the UNEP, GIS, it is also a part of it, WRI, and institutions like the IIT Madras, and all other stakeholder departments in the state government have got involved, and we have formed subgroups, and lots of initiatives has been initiated as a part of this mitigation strategy, which will be the kind of a policy document which will be, which will be listing out the roles and responsibilities as a short-term, as a long-term measures, what the state has to take. And for this, one important thing what we have did is to initiate the urban heat island study at the state level. One is that the Chennai master plan, the urban planning becomes an important aspect here, and Chennai master plan is under preparation, and CEPT is working with the Chennai Municipal Development Authority in assessing the urban heat island effect on Chennai over the different time period, how temporarily this effect has really been increasing. And local level at Chennai, only covering Chennai has been initiated, but with this heat mitigation strategy, we have initiated the study at the state level, which will tell how the urban heat island effect is having a greater impact on the, not just, it's also impacting the quality of the life. So a larger study has also got initiated. That is one activity. And the second is that the industries department has been looking, has been very keen in implementing this district cooling system. And they have again initiated an effort of having this feasibility report. And the State Planning Commission is again helping the industries department in preparation of this feasibility report. We have taken UNEP support, and many other technical institutions have been onboarded, and we have initiated the activities to prepare this feasibility report. So this is parallelly happening, and maybe in the next conference or next international gathering or at the state level, probably our state would have definitely taken up a lead role in getting this within the industrial setup. That's the other activity what the state has initiated. And third thing is that we are also focusing on the urban cooling projects. We have taken the public housing units, for example, the urban slum boards, the habitat development authorities have been onboarded, and we have taken this cool roofing as a model, and we are also initiating with the support of UNEP. UNEP has been a very good support in providing kind of the technical support, linking us with other technical experts who are in this various domain. So that way, I think Tamil Nadu is initiating a lot of efforts. Probably, I think with all the support and the inputs what we gather here, we'll be able to take a lead further. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are seeing how a progressive state in South India has got its act together for planning and getting preparatory to moving forward later on to district cooling. And all of this is required because first we want to reduce heat in the city and whichever the surroundings are, and then the district cooling becomes a lighter load to be able to do that. And so I think you're doing that very well. So now we will move to Anirudh Bapat, and he's from Tata Realty. It's a very large developer in India, and they've developed a large complex, and he'll tell us more about it in Gurgaon near Delhi. But interestingly, their developer has taken a decision to provide cooling as a service for this whole complex. So I'm going to ask Anirudh to tell us a bit about that, and the question is to examine the benefits and challenges of cooling as a service from your perspective, because you're a listed developer, and anything else you would like to add related to this. Anirudh.
Yeah, sure. Hi, good to have here with all of you. Good morning to you all. As Murthy sir, you had rightly checked the scenario that what are the benefits? See, as a developer, I would say the basic advantage in district cooling, what we have identified is we could save on the diversities, what otherwise could go in individual cooling plants vis-a-vis district cooling plants. Your installed capacities reduces a lot. If you will see on a thumb rule basis, for a centralized cooling system, the installed capacity could go to 0.8 TR against 1 TR of individual capacities of cooling plants. Another advantage is reutilization of M&D spaces. If you will see, lot of M&D spaces have been utilized for individual cooling plants, chiller plants in a commercial setup or IT park, which can be freed for better utilization, I would say. This is one of the biggest advantage, that it could free lot of M&D space. The flip side of this is, one is reduction in the tonnage of and install capacity. Another aspect we have noticed is, we could reduce on connected load and maximum demand of power also. So there is an advantage when you move to a district cooling system, you also reduce your power demand. So you are really contributing a lot to the environment, and your ESG score would get benefited if you move to district cooling system. In Tata Realty, we have also devised a model with Tabreed India to use cooling as a service. So we are outsourcing this cooling function to Tabreed. There is another advantage, because as a developer, if you will see, developer don't have their in-house team to maintain and operation of these chiller plants. We have to have either our inbuilt capacities, so strengthen our resources. Other than that, the other option is to outsource it to some technical FM guys. Then there could be a lot of challenges, to maintain that cooling, to desired cooling. Our commercial properties are leased out to many of the MNC clients, like Googles and Microsofts of the country. So we found it always beneficial that if we hand it over to a subject matter specialist than to handle through some FM guys. Yes. So this is also one of the advantage we have noticed. So these are a couple of, we will develop on this once we move ahead on this.
Sure, sure. So we've come to know now how a developer has taken these steps, and I was not long back in Bangkok, where we had the conference of APUA, where in countries around Southeast Asia, this is being done, and providing cooling as a service with a professional who does cooling as a service as a business is a very good model, because all the other problems which are about the user problem, the user experience, the billing, and all these things get well sorted out. So I think that's a good model, and other developers will be encouraged, because this is a way out, and developers themselves may not want to rise to the challenge of doing all of this themselves. And same for the government. The government also can find this ways of tendering, which the government of Telangana has done for Pharma City, and that project is rolling out very soon. So we'll go to Loveleen. He's from a wonderful example of an existing district cooling system in India, in the city of Ahmedabad. And it has been some time in the making, but now it has got operational, and all the benefits of the district cooling project are coming through. So I shall ask you, Loveleen, to, shall we say, showcase the unique initiatives undertaken by GIFT City in integrating DCS with city planning, and anything else you would like to add to that.
So if we talk about what we're talking about, that demand of cooling in the urbanism, and the cities are growing, like. Take the mic a little closer. So as of today, we see this around the 50% population of the world stay in the urban cities, and then the demand is expected around 75% people will be staying in the cities till 2045. So as we see in this morning, the cooling is a huge demand. And as we talk about the government initiatives by Tamil Nadu government, by the developers, initiative taken by the Tata. So as a city, if we talk about it's DCS, not as a service, but the DCS, district cooling system, as a city utilities, so which we were talking about. If we talk about GIFT City is being developed as a model futuristic city. So where that sustainability and this environmental efficiencies, energy efficiencies built is in the design and planning of the city. Generally, when we make the master plans, when we make the cities, so generally we just take out the basic amenities or basic utilities, water supply, sanitations, and other stuff. We forget to put separate layers of utilities. And as well as the city grows, we keep, the firefighting about the sanitation lines, about the water supply line, about the electricity line and the cablings. So in the GIFT City, what the integration of infrastructure, not only the traditional utilities, but the futuristic cities is in place. So like when we did the master plan, so we know for the district cooling systems, we'll be supplying chilled water and the return water. So we have to dedicate space along the master plan so that, in future as the city is growing, it will be easy for us to lay down our district cooling pipelines, and as well as the integration of individual buildings. That's the most important part. That as we understand very basically water supply and the sanitation, that city municipality, city managers lay down the water supply line, lay down the sewer lines, and we just tap the connection. But in district cooling systems, we need to go one step beyond, because it's very technical things. We have to connect return incoming water and the return water supply. So the connectivity with the individual towers is to be think about and put into properly in the master plan or the development plan of the buildings. So as a gift, we provide a single window clearance systems. The building approvals is also done by us. So it's a very unique model in the city over the country, where the building permissions, master planning, city utilities, everything lies with us. It's truly a single window clearance, and then all these constitutional power of building development, making the master plan has been vested with us as a city. So it was easy for us to put district cooling system in DCR, Development Control Regulations, which we just saw. Vibhu was showing the national level plan, how this district cooling system can integrate in the urban planning. So as a model, we can say everything, if you want to see how it can be, put into the city level or in the country level, like at the center level or a state level, how as a small level in the GIFT City we have done it. So the space for the district cooling plant, for the utilities as the city will grow, is properly marked in the master plan, and these lines, spaces through the utility tunnel, and as well as in the building approval systems also. Because as Mr. Bapat was telling about, that is a huge saving in the space. We don't need the negative space generally if you go in any large scale buildings, malls or maybe the IT park or large urban space areas. So there we find in a backyard there is a chilling plant, and there is a dead space, then noise, vibrations and other stuff. So here that we save it on huge at the city level. So now we just have buildings, and we don't have any individual plant at the city level. So for that, our architects and the planners or the engineers who design the building utilities services had to have that framework. So we have very well-defined guidelines about the district cooling systems, integration, design documents. So when then architects or their engineers comes on board with us, so we have one-day conference, induction programs, and hand-holding with them, and well-written documents. So the space reservation in the buildings, all these things are taken care, and it's almost a decade from we are practicing this practice of advancement. Thank you.
I would just add, in fact, the beauty of district cooling is only after district cooling thought has been started getting integrated, we engineers can demand a dedicated space for that. Otherwise, in any commercial development, you will see plant room spaces or M&D spaces, whatever negative areas have been left, you have been asked to accommodate your services and plant room in that space. Right. But the beauty of district cooling is now you can demand your space, I would say.
So we will be coming to that point. It's an interesting point, because in GIFT City, which I visited not so recently, but a while ago, so there was this wonderful tunnel which goes through the whole place, which is the utility tunnel. So you can go through it, you can do all your checking, repairing, adding, monitoring, and all sorts of things like that. So now we will go to Sunil. Sunil, I'm going to first talk a little bit about you. So Sunil Pote is from this organization called Mahapreet. It is MAHAPREIT, and he will tell you a little more about it. And it's this organization's special vehicle set up by the government of Maharashtra. You see, we're going all over India. We're looking at every little place, and finally to you, who's right here in Goa, but we'll come to you a little later. So Sunil, organization Mahapreet, is at the forefront of doing all the things which cities need to do in the aspect of energy and related things, such as renewable energy and district cooling and planning. So Sunil is heading that technical part as well as the administration. So I'm going to ask you, Sunil, to tell us a little bit about Mahapreet, and after that, you can tell us about how you are planning and working on the challenges and opportunities in planning and designing district cooling systems for both new and existing infrastructure.
Thank you. Mahapreet is a state government of Maharashtra company. We have a mandate to work pan-India. 49% equity is of central government. I'm fortunate to have that experience in district cooling since year 2016. I was a national committee member for India. And Thane was, that time I was a city official in Thane. And that time, UNEP, I'm really thankful to UNEP. We got exposure since 2016. We had a number of stakeholder committee meetings. I think my colleague was in other organization. He was also there. And we prepared a feasibility study also. So first of all, the challenges which we face as a city official, I will explain a little bit. See, every time we discuss about the district cooling, I think this is a misnomer as far as city official is concerned. Because when they say that nomenclature district means there is something different. So first thing is that understanding it is a community cooling. This is one thing. Second thing is city is more interested in city cooling action plan. Reduction in local heat islanding effect. It will attract more if we approach cities. And resource circularity is again very important aspect. Just to give an example, Mr. Michael is aware, so we are going to Pune also. Pune has AEEE and they have invited us, next city, to promote district cooling. KPMG is also there, to promote district cooling in city of Pune. We are associated with Pune Municipal Corporation also. The first question Commissioner asked me, so what is the benefit of district cooling as far as for the citizens of Pune? The first thing I told that your sewage treated water will be utilized. We may think of using vapor absorption machine instead of compression machines to some extent, wherein carbon footprint can reduce. So all those things, then he said that let us start dialogue. And now we are working with them. So to come back to our Mahapreet, since I have experience and my CMD and all those people I have from energy sector only, we are promoting very unique, and hopefully next conference I will be able to make a case study. UNEP has supported us in really, in not only the district cooling, city cooling action plan using sustainable material. See, typically in India, we create a problem and then think about solving the problem. Here, right from reduction of carbon footprint, how we can reduce using the sustainable building material. So green cement, then steel, embodied energy, all that micro level details we are incorporating in one of the big project in Thane. And there, right from beginning, inception we are doing it, wherein the urban jungle will be there, urban forestry will be there, then there is a lake, passive cooling will be there, then biodiversity is there. So there is a C&D waste, construction and demolished material, there will be segregation of that, and same material will be reused. Then whatever plastic is generated, waste plastic, that again will be used for making a paver block. And now very systematically we are going ahead, where we are preparing a baseline. Coming Monday, we are sitting together and we are preparing a baseline. It will be globally published with the support of UNEP. And how much reduction can happen, that we are finding out. Wherein we are hoping for 30% carbon footprint reduction, and then we will be clubbing it with the carbon credits to make it more sustainable. There is again misconception that it is a costly affair. See, using this material is a costly affair, it is not so. Then coming back to few things, we are not focusing on data centers. See, especially in Indian context, data centers are coming up and it is a power guzzler. And it creates a heat substantial heat. We can recover that heat and utilize it. Unfortunately, I have not come across any data center in India where the district cooling, we are trying to promote it. But they say that ours is the tier 4, so reliability and all those issues are there. I think we will have to strive for it because this is a main source of power. Then second thing is that industrial decarbonization also, because cities are expanding and industries are now almost on the boundary or in the city itself. So there, why can't you think about industrial decarbon? For example, pharmaceutical industry. Like Hyderabad Medicity, pharmaceutical industry, huge requirement of air conditioning is there. Dehumidifiers are there. Can we think about that? That also we are looking for in Pune. Maybe next week we are going to Pune for that one thing. So I think these two parameters we need to incorporate more. No, not only for a commercial malls and all those things. We have to diversify the application.
Yeah, so I'm asking you a small question in relation to that, since our special focus is on district cooling, and you covered so many wonderful topics which are all allied and so on and so forth. And later on, we might talk about the whole cycle of district cooling, how it helps many other things. But in particular, for you, I want to ask that you are planning to do a brownfield project in Mumbai also,
Yeah,
which you
yeah.
might have started studying about in Bandra Kurla complex, where there's already many buildings, there's already air conditioned and so on and so forth. But it's a wonderful place where district cooling might have been. And so might have been can become, can it be, will it be, and it has happened. So do you see that you can begin slowly and move forward to encompass the whole of Bandra Kurla complex in time?
Yeah, we are confident. With the support of district cooling service providers, we are already undertaking a feasibility study, and results are very, very encouraging, very encouraging. So there are takers, initial hurdles are there, but we are sure we are bringing in MMRDA. There is a local authority called as a Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Development Authority. We are bringing them also on the board. The good part is that in BKC, very typically somebody made a mention, the demand shifting. District cooling, because in Mumbai, in certain pockets, what has happened, no? The demand at a peak load period, it is shifting, it is just rising like anything, and these discoms, they need to go for higher equipments for this one. So after shifting the demand, then in that case, government can also intervene. MMRDA can also intervene. If you want to set up any building there, you will have to go for district cooling.
So now we'll move to Alicia. And she's here in Goa, where we all are gathered together in the wonderful environment. But logistically, she's not here on a holiday. She's here with GIZ doing some very serious work related to all that we talk about. And she's working locally in the city of Panjim with the city authorities, as well as the larger state of Goa, and doing all that. So I'm going to ask you a question. Just give me a minute. And so that is, you will tell us about your experience of how urban development policies and regulations can facilitate DCS integration. And you can tell us first about what you're doing, your work you're doing, and then talk about this, how you can encourage urban development authorities to bring in district cooling or to prepare themselves for it, or the state can have a policy and things like that, yeah.
Thank you so much for the question, and I'm very glad to be a part of it. I work in Goa on a project called Urban Act, and it works on the resilient and low carbon cities. And one of our focus is energy efficiency, and I think this is the best platform to talk about it. The district cooling system has a wonderful energy efficiency. It has proven that. And if you are asking me how are we envisioning this in terms of urban planning, or how do we implement all these things, I would say that we need to understand all the stakeholders first, and to understand their role and responsibility. For example, the Urban Development Authority or the Town and Country Planning Department in every state has their own bylaws and regulations, which can facilitate the DCS and all the energy efficiency code in its bylaws. Bibu was showing the URDFPF guidelines and how DCS can be integrated in it. And that guideline is at the central level, and it is facilitated by the laws and regulatory frameworks at the state level. And so that is the medium where master plans are formulated. As Lavlinji was telling, how it is difficult, like we plan something first and then put something else after that. The vision is not there. But when we do a master plan, it's for 20, 30 years, and now we are talking about resilient cities everywhere. So this is the platform. I believe that these master plans and the country and town planning departments has the role to facilitate the policies and regulatory framework. Coming to the more at the grassroots level, all the ULBs at every states, they are the one who will facilitate what the policies and the regulatory frameworks are there, and especially for DCS, how that will be implemented, where it will be implemented, and how to incentivize it. Because as we were also talking the carrot and the stick method, so we need more of incentives to facilitate it. And one of the major stakeholder for us is the real estate investor. And they are the one who is also bearing the finance at their level. So talking about the guidelines and the policy at the central and the state level, and how it is going to channelize at the ground level to the investors, and how they can be encouraged to use more like the DCS into their construction and design plan, is something that we can definitely should be working.
So that's very good to hear. So you are being able to bring these various groups together to talk to each other, and also at the primary level to be able to talk to the urban planners about integrating some aspects into their own town planning. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So energy efficiency is one of our thematic area that we are working in Panjim, and also at the Goa state with the country and town planning department. And how last year ECBC was been passed there, and how to integrate and implement the energy efficiency with all the stakeholders coming together is something that we are working on.
That's very good. It's very interesting to hear about this, because being the catalyst and being able to get these things to happen, also as Sudha is doing in Tamil Nadu, you're doing it from a private organization. Of course, the government of Germany is doing it over here, and shall we say, catalyzing that. And Sudha is doing it from being in the state to plan all of it. So all of us over here are in this whole chain of planning, organizing, doing, getting the results, and learning from each other how to do it elsewhere. And India is a very huge country, and different states have different requirements, and cities are of different sizes. So now we will go to the next part of our talk. We will go to Nikhil. And Nikhil is from an organization called C40, which brings shall we say, the leadership of cities together. And they plan to do the things which cities should be doing collectively and learning from each other. But Sunil will tell us more about that and what your organization does. But the question I have for you is, of course, you have to see how, as she talked about URDPFI being a framework which can have all these things collectively learned from the cities. And we have to move forward to get district cooling and the needs of the basic parts of district cooling into those plans. But because that has not yet happened, so you as a group of C40 can be a very good nucleus to make this happen and start talking to see it happens. And if it doesn't happen in a hurry, it can certainly happen within the city, because the city has its own town planning, its municipalities. So you please tell us about integrating URDPFI, as well as to start with about C40. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you so much to organizers for the opportunity, and I'm very glad to share my thoughts here. I'm working with cities for last 13, 14 years, so I will bring that perspective to district cooling adoption in cities. So Basically, in C40, we are working with 100 global cities to influence and motivate them for the climate actions and build their climate ambition aligned with Paris Agreement 1.5 degree scenarios. So basically, we support them to prepare climate action plans, and maybe most of you know that Mumbai has already launched first climate action plan, which is aligned to 1.5 degree scenario in this particular region. Chennai was the next recently implemented that kind of action plan. So I just wanted to mention that, like, with my experience, there are three basic needs that cities will implement such kind of technologies. First, if there is a national guidelines, national mission or policies or maybe regulatory agencies. Second thing, if local leadership like subnational government or cities have aligned with say international climate crisis or maybe international commitments or something like that. And to sustain these both things, we need to have mainstreaming of these commitments through maybe climate budgeting or maybe local guidelines or local DCR or master plans like these things. Recently, UNEP mentioned that in one of the report that the building operation emissions are rising from 2020 levels by 5%. So this is the highest 10 gigatons of CO2. And even our national cooling action plan says there will be 8 times growth in cooling demand by 2037-38. So we bring that kind of scenario to cities to build their ambition. So with these climate action plans, they are setting 30 years target to reach net zero by 2050. So in that journey, there will be a lot of transition in terms of technology, lot of transition in terms of energy availability will happen. But every time going back to city and saying this is the new technology is available for you and there are so many benefits to that. So this will make them difficult to get decisions. So right now we are using climate lens to all of these things. So even Mumbai Climate Action Plan mentions about district cooling, or even we are working with 43 cities in Maharashtra to develop their decarbonization roadmap. So we are mentioning what are the priorities for cities to get into the clean energy transition. And the most important thing is to leverage their existing services and ambitions. For example, even though we are working on district cooling, but we need to identify what is the benefit, co-benefits of district cooling. For example, how it contributes to air pollution, because air pollution is one of the priority sector for cities. We have national air quality program, improvement program going on. So how these particular things, technology transition can help cities to leverage their other commitments, leverage their air quality, leverage the health of citizens, leverage to build green jobs in the cities. So these things or these co-benefits we need to consider in our actions, in our convincing pause to discuss with city authorities or even subnational governments. So basically, yeah, we are supporting on these things. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. So I'm going back to Lavleen. So you gave us a fair idea of what is happening in GIFT City and all. So now I'm going to ask you to enlighten us about some of the challenges you might have faced and the organization might have faced in the phases of commissioning and getting on further along with that. And also, from the other side, if I have to look at being a consumer of district cooling, a customer of district cooling in that GIFT City, and then the easy adoption, and are they adapting to what benchmarks you're setting in terms of temperatures and so on. So these kind of things. So I'm talking about first, about some of the challenges you faced in doing it, which could even be regulatory, and after that, the experience of operating it.
For the regulatory concerns about in challenging of with the customers, so as it's mandatory and then being a greenfield project, so it was a cutting edge advantage for us. We can make it in regulations, and then the building control regulation GDCR, which is in the Town Planning Act. So we could put district cooling systems in place, and then it's become mandatory for the whoever is coming. So there is no choice for not having district cooling system in the GIFT City. So as a city status. For the technical part, which you're talking about the temperature and the customer satisfaction, I would like if my senior Rajiv Sharma Saab can tell something about that, because he's a person who is handling district cooling system from, I'll give the mic. Okay.
So Rajiv, just about operational matters which you would like to
Yeah.
enlighten us about.
So, because he is the guy who's daily dealing with the, multiple customers. I think more than 200 customers daily, and facing challenges about the temperature, about the services, the quality of services, and everything. Mr. Sharma can tell us.
So thank you, Lovely, for involving me here. I'll definitely help you in answering the complete question for the audience and you. So quickly, one or two challenges that I realize is that while we decide about a particular area in which we have to deliver district cooling, infrastructure is laid, and the infrastructure is to be laid for 100% capacity. However, when the building starts to get occupied, the building does not get occupied on the day one 100%. So it gets occupied like 2%, 3%. And then there is no control as to by when there will be 100% load of the building available on the infrastructure. So infrastructure can remain idle for a very long time, I mean, couple of years. That is one challenge that we have faced while we started. So we installed a 10,000 ton plant, it operated at 500 tons for over 2 years. And also, since there is no guarantee, warranty and clear-cut availability of when this will get loaded, a lot of permutation, combination remains to be done as to when and how extend further capabilities. So that's one challenge, and a factor of uncertainty remains. On the low loads, the efficiency comes into play, and on the low load, the overall efficiency of the plant comes down. So the cost of operation increases. So it is necessary that the best and ideal situation could be day one 100% load, or at least 90% load, so that the district cooling provider survives. And maybe the last challenge, or one of the last thing which is also important, is that the delta T of the designer who does the design for the district cooling establishes initially what delta he will keep for the city. So in our case, it is 9-degree delta T, 5-degree supply, 14-degree return. However, since the loads are low, 14-degree return practically has not happened yet, very rarely. So we survive around 13, 12.5. All these temperatures which do not return back as per the design reduces the overall efficiency of the plant. And in such large plants where the electrical demand is in megawatts, minor changes or minor reduction in efficiency makes a lot of difference on the commercial front. So we are seeing now that the loads in the gift city are increasing, and our delta T is improving further, and we are nearing around 13, 13.5, 13.2, and we are sure it will get better. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good. Hello. So Sudha, we come back to you, and you gave us a good heads up about what the state of Tamil Nadu is doing to get prepared for all these programs which come in the future. But so I'm wishing to ask you, will the government also encourage maybe a campus like IIT Madras or places like that to go for district cooling? Or there already are some existing parks in Chennai which were done by the Tatas some years ago. So all these places are very potentially good places to introduce district cooling or to plan to do it, like Sunil Putte is planning to do in Mumbai. So you can give us some idea about what you might be looking ahead for.
Yeah, sure. One thing is that now the Tamil Nadu is coming up with a lot of industrial hacks. We had a discussion with the Department of Industries. We have an officer from SIPCOT also. Welcome, Akash. One thing is that we are establishing a fintech park in Chennai. We are in discussion with the industries department to look into the possibilities of installing a DCS in the fintech park. And now with the central government making it mandatory for the ESG ratings, we foresee that the top companies which are coming as an investor in the state will definitely be looking in for such a kind of an opportunities wherein their ESG ratings is also, possibly might go high. And that's something which I think will be an encouraging factor for not only the investors or any other company which is like coming up in this kind of a fintech park or any other industrial setup within the state. And in January, our state is hosting the global investor meet is happening at a very large level. The full preparations is going on. We are expecting investors from the multiple sectors, multiple industries to be coming for discussion. And probably the feasibility report on the district cooling system installation in Tamil Nadu, we are really thinking of getting that done well before that. Therefore, that could be a kind of a document which could be attractive for the investors as well. That's one thing. And second thing is that now again the central government has again come up with one of the initiative of the green credit program is getting introduced, I believe. So which will be released, which will be getting launched, I was told that within a week or so. So with that kind of a system, with that kind of an ecosystem presently available, we foresee a good opportunity for the district cooling system. One thing is that I would, as you rightly told, that already Tamil Nadu has got a lot of establishments. The IIT Research Park in Chennai, they are having an integrated energy efficient system which they have installed. It's a kind of a district cooling system, but a kind of a slightly tweaked model which they have did it. And a report has also been published. And one requirement is that, as Mr. Hote rightly said, that the awareness of the district cooling and is still not been at the larger level, or at least in the departments, within the government departments, I think there is a good scope for us to have a kind of a skilling activity which can expose the government authorities to what could be the possible benefits of having the district cooling or an integrated model which could be helping to have this energy efficiency. So if that's something what all these technical partners here in this forum, if you are looking into such a kind of an activity, engaging at the state level, maybe at least, we are there from few states who have already been onboarded and who have this keen interest of getting this DCS. So if this can be initiated, that will definitely be supporting the government to have a kind of a good expertise, and something positive could definitely be coming.
Wonderful. So you brought up a good point, to which I will just make a small comment. So some time back, GIZ and AEEE released the district cooling guideline. So that's a very nice guideline. It has technical information in it. It also has feasibility studies. It has a preamble. And I'm a past president of the Society of Air Conditioning Engineers. So we are going to we'll work with AEEE to be able to promote that and to be able to do some education on that. And then we can work and do it at different states and at different levels, at multiple levels. And so that's how we can bring in awareness. And we have to have multiple forums where to do it. Yeah.
Just
Okay,
to
please,
supplement,
yeah.
one thing is that what's really a kind of a challenge what we are facing is on the economic aspect. We need to talk, in terms of investment, when we are planning to take this policy decision of getting the DCS system installed at a bigger level, we need to look into the economic aspects as well.
Certainly.
Cost-benefit analysis, for which already the studies what we have initiated at the State Planning Commission of the energy demand or the heat and all that it's only sets the context and will be sensitizing the departments. And the second thing which I really request is that we need to look upon on the economic aspects, cost-benefit analysis, what could be the possible, I think these are something which the departments are expecting all the authorities and the technical experts to provide. So maybe that's something it's required to be published largely.
Okay, so we are running reasonably well on time. I have to ask, who's going to answer me? Okay, so if nobody answers me, I'll take another 5 to 7 minutes and we can have some questions. And so, Anirudh, I have a question for you. So since this, shall we say, cooling as a service has been provided in your project, so there are many other things which can get cycled into cooling as a service or district cooling. One of them is to use resources. Like, for example, the sewage treatment plants, water can be used as a resource. If we can have solar systems over there, that can be used as energy. And we can also look at possibly that the water which returns from the district cooling system, this is a bit technical, but whether we can provide cooling at a lesser degree to some of the surrounding areas, whatever those might be. So district cooling must become socially acceptable. So my point is that district cooling will really get its pace when it becomes socially acceptable and the benefits are seen in a very general sense. So you can comment on that.
I'll tell you this district cooling concept cannot be looked upon in isolation. As you have rightly mentioned, this has to be district cooling, as I mentioned earlier, there has to be integrated with district energy plan. Similarly, the central STP system where we can use the treated water for makeup requirement of our cooling tower. So this has to be looked into totality. We cannot look at district cooling in isolation to make it successful. And another aspect, the government has also need to act as an enabler in achieving this, because we are actually reducing the total demand of the generation. Yes. So that way, if similarly there has to be a lot of work which we feel as developer need to be done on TOD tariff requirement. As Mr. Pote has rightly mentioned, district cooling has not been much explored into data center so far sector, whereas they are the large guzzler of chiller TR. So these are a couple of pointers which I would like to definitely touch base upon.
And we can discuss more.
Yeah.
So I will ask my last question to Alicia, because there might be questions in the audience. So Alicia, since you're here in Goa, and it's a nice small state, yet it is a great state for tourism, for pharma, for manufacturing. Most of the people here are employed and doing something like that. So it might be easy adoption in some time. So there's GIZ have a plan to see whether there can be some possible projects which may be coming up. There may be a possible project for district cooling which may come up.
I would say definitely it has so much of scope. I mean, beyond even Goa. And if you talk about Goa in particular, it's such a small state. And as you mentioned, that hospitality is one of the major industry here.
Yes.
And district cooling system has how would I say it? The opportunity is tremendous
Yes.
in that scope. And Goa is also facing the climate change aspect. So something like this district cooling systems, where you are also giving the cooling system and as well as the energy efficiency is also being tackled here. So it's a great initiative that has a lot of scope to work in Goa.
Yeah, wonderful. So I have come to the end of asking the wonderful ladies and gentlemen sitting here with me. So if there are any questions, we would certainly like to take them because we have so many experts over here. And a question can also be answered if we don't have the answer. Then there are no wrong questions. There are only possibility of no answer.
So, sir, the question goes to Mr. Sunil. It is it's highly appreciable that you are taking up a brownfield project in BKC. So, a small question is, what is your USP while you are establishing this project or selling it to the occupants? What's your main agenda or a strength of selling it? Like, it could be replacement of the existing units in terms of capex, or the consistent availability of the service, or is it the lower cost as compared to their existing operational costs?
Thank you. Very good question, actually. Mahapreet being a government of Maharashtra company, we are interested in meeting the ESG goal, reduction in carbon footprint, as I said, resource circularity. These are the things which it is our primary goal, one. And you know that energy efficiency, city like state in Maharashtra, the tariff is very high. So whatever energy consumption reduction is there, it makes the project viable. We have done the study in Bandra Kurla complex and found to be really monetarily beneficial to the occupant also. Then second thing is that demand shifting is also there. So that benefit to the state is there. Discoms are benefited. In fact, we are trying to approach MERC, Regulatory Commission, for devising a special tariff for district cooling service providers. So all those benefits are there. The first thing is that ESG goal. Then only there will be a wider acceptance to the citizen. It should not be only a business proposal, wherein one technology provider comes and he sells his product. That will not work in, at least in our country. If you want to involve local self-government, state government, Niti Aayog, central organization, we have to build in. Without that, it will not happen. We should be able to establish it, tangible. Baseline is like this one, and after this much reduction is there.
Yeah, so to answer, just to take a little bit more from what he said. So there are some large buildings in Bandra Kurla complex, which are public sector or banks, and where there will be a little more ease of getting them to agree to start with. You need a nucleus of a few people to start with, and then that will spread. So the biggest benefit is the freedom from having to run your central air conditioning plant, as we have seen in GIFT City. And so the benefits have to come only by, the adoption is to come only by seeing. You know, seeing is believing. So I think they will succeed in getting 2 or 3 buildings, and that will be then expanded. There's enough land over there about the roads and be able to approach and so on. That will be figured out. You know, I'm sure that will all happen. And I think all of this is good. Are there any more questions? Yes, madam. Can you give her a mic? Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. It is really helpful.
I don't think we can hear her, no?
Speak loud. It's okay. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous to someone pay attention to me.
If you don't mind, can you come a little forward so that you...
Yeah.
Oh,
so thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. It is really helpful to understand about district cooling systems. So I have a question to Sudha. Yeah. Because actually, regarding this reduce this heat island.
Heat island effect.
Yes,
yeah,
efficient. Effect. Which parameter does takes more impact between individual cooling and increasing the asphalt or like reduce the green area? Because normally once we are providing cooling part in the city level, we calculate based on the individual building and assuming this total amount of energy consumption. But if we are increasing this asphalt and also reduce the greenery area, it means environment in the city, increase the outdoor temperature increasing based on that. So it means it also increase the demand of cooling. So we have to thinking about once we calculate this energy demand in the city level, we have to consider how much we increasing this environment in the city as part and this. So how much do you consider also this part to design city?
So you got a question? She's trying to say, she's asking this question, which is very relevant, that as you build more and you create more space for people to be occupied, then you destroy some of the habitat and the green, whereas actually you're working to reduce the urban heat effect. So she's saying, how is that plan being done? And I'm not making it worse.
First of all, let me answer your question. What we have initiated is, one, we are assessing the effect of the urban heat island, because we know very well, we keep talking about it and all, and everyone under this roof, we are very well aware about what is this urban heat island effect is. But then we have to do a concrete study. The assessment of the urban heat island has to be done because urbanization, Tamil Nadu being a state which is one of the most urbanized in the country, and it's the increasing rate of urbanization is also happening. So we need to assess how this urbanization is affecting, the quality of the life. So for which we have initiated study at present, which will be using the spatial technologies integrated with the energy demand, and then also at the local level, we'll also be doing the ground truthing in integrating hill area, the energy, the air cooling systems which is getting installed, the other infrastructure, and also considering the effect of the urban greening and hazard cooling structures available well within the city to see how this is helping to mitigate the effect of the urban heat island. So with all this, it's going to be a collective study which is going to be done initially, which will definitely be supporting the state government to tell that we need to initiate efforts to reduce this heat island effect, because now as the state is seeing a sprawling of the urbanization being happening, a lot of satellite cities are also getting initiated, and there is a good possibility of having a kind of a good energy efficient models which can be told. So we are going to use this urban heat island study as a kind of a precursor to inform to the government or to sensitize the authorities at different of the different departments to say that an integrated model only will work, because the departments taking the actions individually in silos will definitely not be working. Overall, they'll have to have an integrated approach which will be contributing to reduce the heat island effect and multiple other benefits as well. And already C40 has helped the Chennai authorities in coming up with the action plan for city like Chennai. So multiple initiations have been done, and CEW is also now working on preparing the GHG inventory. They are looking on the GHG inventory per sector-wise, wherein the energy, the transport sector, the industry sector, the built area, means the the civil structures and all that. Every sector's GHG inventory is getting documented. We are also having this roadmap up to 2070, and as a state, we would like to become net zero. Probably net zero is really very highly ambitious, but then trying to reduce the carbon emissions well within the 2070 target, what we have. So this is the larger.
Thank you very much for that answer. So I think we've come to the end of this panel because we have to roll on with the whole of the day. So I thank all my panelists. I think it was wonderful. My experience was wonderful. Was it for you?
So whereas I assume like everyone had a good time here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.